Hi, everybody. You're listening to Americans by Choice, a podcast from Miguel and David. We bring the outsider's point of view to inside politics. We're both foreign-born and lived in the USA for over 25 years, following politics blow by blow all along the way. Join two old friends who like to talk politics and had a good time while doing it.
Epa, David, what a pleasure to see you.
Well, Miguel, I would like to say it's a pleasure to see you. It's always good to see your face.
Always
but
good
what
to
a
see you.
day, my man. What a day. What a debate.
Day. What a 24 hours. I mean, if anybody is in doubt that 24 hours in politics is a lifetime, you know, just live through the last, it hasn't even been 24 hours.
It hasn't been 24 hours. We're recording this maybe, I don't know, 12 hours after the horrendous performance from Biden. I mean, I was amazed. The spin has been going fast and furious.
Furious.
But let's concentrate real quickly here before we move from that on first impressions.
Okay.
What was your first impression when you saw of what you saw last night?
Well, David, look, this was, I mean, obviously nothing that I'll say will, you know, add to the litany of things that have already been said. But to me, watching the debate, David, when I say I couldn't watch it, it felt like I was watching a video of a tortured animal where I had to look away. I would turn it off, get myself together and come back on, and it would happen. It was like that. It was horrific. It was horrific in every way possible. And not because, you know, whatever Biden was saying, it was just the guy's not up to the task. Everything that we have been told up to this point, I think is bullshit. We'll get kind of into that to some extent in a minute, but it was unbearable. And the worst thing of it all, I mean, I guess the worst thing of it all, and we will get into this, is that everything on the other side regarding Trump will go unspoken about. I mean, we can all say he lied, la, 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 la. But let me go to you. How did you feel? What did you see?
We're going to win. No, dude, that was bad. No. Yeah, that was. You know, I love Joe Biden.
You love this man.
I love Joe Biden. I always love him.
Yeah,
I think I haven't been one of those guys who like, well, this is what we got. Let's go with it. I love the guy. I'm gonna say it again. Back in the primaries, when the primaries where Barack Obama became the candidate, that would have been 2007.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I was volunteering for the campaign of Biden. I mean, Biden ran for primary. So I love the guy going back. I think has done a fantastic job. And yesterday, I was just feeling like somebody was abusing my grandpa. Like I was looking at my grandpa, and somebody was just being mean and abused, and I wanted to rescue the man. Like that look, he would look lost at the stage.
So lost.
He was literally like he didn't know where he was.
It was sad. It's painful.
It was sad because I felt like wow, man, this is a good man. This is a good man, and this is it's sad that we come to this. It was a bad performance. It was a terrible performance. Nobody expected us to be that bad. Here's the thing that was amazing, Miguel. The format that we all thought, this format of the cutting the microphones, ended up being the best thing that could have possibly happened to Trump. Trump, I mean, I don't want to.
I don't want to do a told you so early, but I did bring this up in our last that this format where he would be basically censored out of his worst instincts would make him look better than he is. Even though, even within that, he still looked like an idiot. He said really stupid stuff, but the format favors him, and especially this. Here's the whole thing that I didn't understand. We talked about it on our last podcast. I thought Biden was going to give the left side of the screen. No, you said the right.
So, yeah, on the right, and I guess I was confused. So it was terrible. This format favored Trump, and here's the other thing that was really favored Trump, is the fact that he could go and lie unimpeded. Like there was
2 minutes
no
unimpeded,
pushback.
No pushback, yeah.
From these moderators. I mean, I don't know why we make such a big deal about who moderates this debate, and what do we agonize about who does it? Because these people, these two, they just read a question. We can have a robot reading those questions. There's no pushback. There's nothing. This guy was able to lie and lie and lie. And of course, maybe the assumption was that the premise, the duty of fact check Trump was on his opponent, in this case,
Correct.
Biden, but he clearly wasn't up to that. Not only that he was using this gish gallop technique. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I don't even know what that is. What is a gish
Well,
gallop?
people who do professional debating. And have you seen a professional debate where they talk super fast, blah 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 blah?
Oh, yeah, right.
Okay, and the reason why that's gish gallop, you put so many arguments on the table
Yeah,
that the
right,
opponent
right.
doesn't have time to go through.
Right. No, and you could see
each one of
that. I
them.
mean, but that's a classic
yeah.
Trump administration, and what you call the bee nest of the things. You just throw so much shit, and it's like hornets. It's like grrr. It's like I don't even know what to start.
It's a hose. It's a firefighter hose of lies and shit.
But to the point that you're saying, I just want to just because we have this podcast, and there's a reason why I wanted to do with you. But amongst them is I just don't want to excuse the inexcusable. Whether Biden was in the left or the right or the center or the top, he should have won that debate. Plain and clear, he was going against a candidate that has convictions against him, who's had a terrible record,
felonies,
who is a liar. Even as we heard him speak, it was a complete liar. He wasn't. If he's not up to that task, he's not up to the task of being the candidate. That is the candidate. I also
there's a difference between governing and running for president.
100%. And
so far, I still giving top points for governing, but
100%.
Clearly that job has become something in which you also have to run for it.
Let's talk about this little thing here, because I know that there's a lot of emotion right now in the Democratic side about what's happening. There is a part of this where this is not a personal thing. This is what we are saying right now. It's not a personal attack on Joe Biden. Joe Biden has served his country loyally, his family. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good man. That can be true. And also the fact that he's not up to the task of running for another term can be true too. This is not a personal attack on Joe Biden. But there is.
It doesn't get more personal than what you're saying, but yeah, go on. There is no animosity. I mean, you're talking personally about him, but there is no animosity.
Well, he's personally not able to do the job. I can be a good person, but not able to do a job.
Yeah. Well, it's a personal thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you don't have any animosity as a person. No, I agree. Let's put it this way: the job of president ages people faster than usual. We all know those photos. So when you see the photo of the person coming to be president, the way in the way out. Yeah. The only person who didn't age a lot.
Donald Trump.
The president was a lot. Here's the
Not
thing,
a single
Miguel.
day. He actually came out looking
looking
younger.
at these two men in the stage from the moment they walk in, from the moment that Biden shuffling and Trump coming with his jacket open, a little like a size too big, looked like a freaky gangster from the 80s. It was amazing, right?
Yeah.
But with a lot of swagger, no doubt about that. And I'm thinking like, well, the difference between these two men is what, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
3-4 years? But boy, Biden looks 20 years older.
Not just looks 20, acts 20 years older. You know, Bernie Sanders is around the same neighborhood. Bernie Sanders would have gone up to that debate stage and he would have held his own. And this is the thing. People think of age in like, okay, when we're in our 20s, there's an equality to that. But, you know, there's differences between different 21-year-olds. And when you get to 80, look, by the way, I mean, again, not to make a joke, but President Carter might have been more mentally acute on that debate stage than Biden, and he's 15 years his senior. I'm just saying, age doesn't work the way that we think it is. It's not. Just a number.
You bring up Carter, and I wasn't going to go there yet, right? Because there's going to be some parallels with Carter. But yesterday I got these Jimmy Carter vibes of one-term president.
Sure.
And it has not so much to do. Well, it has something to do with his performance, but the thing that really did in Carter, and this is the part where you and I are going to disagree, the thing that did in Carter was when he got challenged for the nomination, the open nomination. Mm-hmm. When it was Kennedy at the time. Ted Kennedy challenged him for the nomination, and he weakened him drastically. By the way, before we move on, I'm going to play
it's an incredible parallel because RFK Jr. is already here, but you know, in terms of
let me play this from you.
Well, let me ask you. Are you going to believe a 4-star Marine general, his own former chief of staff, John Kelly, who said he said that, or the disgraced, defeated and lying Donald Trump? My son was one of those people. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth.
Anyway, that was Joe Biden today.
Yeah. The
What
problem with
was that
that
guy
is
yesterday? I don't know.
I don't think Joe Biden got knocked down. I think Joe Biden fell down, and that's the difference. You know what I mean? This is
No,
not.
but I mean,
this
but-
is
but-
not. I
but-
took a punch and fell. This guy just cannot stand anymore. You know what I mean? It's
No,
just,
well, I'm just trying to make a point here. Like, if that guy will show up last night, we will be having a very different conversation. But that
100%.
doesn't preclude the fact that Joe Biden is not reliable. He doesn't show up reliably when we need him, right?
No.
He showed up a couple of times at crucial times during the State of the Union. Yesterday, apparently, I mean that was only 12 hours later after that debate. He was in North Carolina, looking amazing. Well, no, looking good and showing up good, but. Yeah, man. I think the talks of a challenge are warranted, right? Like
are warranted. Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick. So let's talk about, because right now there's a conversation across the DNC, the Democratic Party leaders. So the rank and file yesterday spread. You can see, okay, the doubts are in, and we got to do something about it. Already this morning, they're closing back in. Obama is on Twitter saying everything's fine. I know about a bad debate, blah blah blah. This is the biggest mistake that the DNC can do right now. Look, by the way, what just happened last night was sad. It was painful, but it is a great opportunity for us to now change the conversation. We can get another nominee in. We can get another candidate that would get momentum.
No. Listen.
Well,
Miguel.
let me just finish real quick before you go, because like Jimmy Carter, whatever Jimmy Carter parallel you want to put on, it's not the same. Right now, Joe Biden said, look, after, talking to my wife and what's happened in the last whatever amount of hours, maybe I have been captaining the ship for long enough. I'm going to bow out, and then I want to support the next candidate for the Democratic and have integrity and unite the Democrats behind whoever is next, and then move forward with this. We can do something here. Like the idea that it's too late is you're telling me that is bullshit. If something, God forbid, happened to Biden, he died, then we would change it.
I got the point. You think we had time. You think we had time. I tell you, that's not the case. The only case I see to challenge this man, to challenge the nomination, is it's a sure thing we lose with this guy. So if we're sure that we're going to lose with this guy, we may as well lose with somebody else. So I'm open to consider that only on the premise of we will playing a miracle. No one-term president has survived a challenge during the second term. So that has never happened. We will be rewriting history. And the odds of us changing that outcome at this point, I think, are negligible. On that premise, and that premise alone, that we're sure to lose as it is,
we're sure to lose.
May as well try something else.
Yes, exactly.
But this whole notion, and now, I'm just going on that premise, on the notions how do you want to lose? You want to lose with a candidate with Biden, or you want to lose with a much better slate? It's one of those things it's a Hail Mary.
I want to go down fighting. Yeah, and going with Biden is not fighting.
So I don't want to go down the route of there is two playbooks here. We can follow the Ruth Bader Ginsburg playbook and lose that way, or we can go with a very good slate that hopefully history will fucking say, well, at least these people, Americans, had this choice, and they just took the other choice. And I do think that Newsom Whitman that ticket is unbeatable, right?
Yeah, the Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitman ticket, whichever way you want to put that thing.
Right. However you put that ticket, that's a winning ticket. Unfortunately, this was a mistake that was made, Miguel. We're seeing the consequences of a mistake that was made in 2019. And when that mistake was made, you remember, you're smiling. I was losing my mind and telling you, well, this gets us another 4 years, but I don't know where the fuck we're going from here in 4 years. The mistake has a name.
Kamala Harris.
Last name, Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
This is the one problem, right, Miguel? If this was a ticket that was Biden, Newsom, do you think it will be this much hand wrangling? Like, well, Biden doesn't make it. There's a competent, capable person there to pick up the ball. But right now, we're in a situation that as bad as Biden is,
Kamala's worse.
Kamala is worse, even though she's perfectly healthy.
No,
And
she's
it's
a
not
terrible
racism,
candidate. Yeah.
And it's not racist, and it's not because she's a woman. We got plenty. I always say we have Stacey Abrams has been sitting there, a black woman has been sitting there all along, who will have been a phenomenal candidate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. So this whole BS that the only reason why we consider Kamala is because she's a woman. And she's black is the opposite. The only reason why Kamala Harris is because she is a woman and she is black, right? So let's not mince words with that. So I kind of end up agreeing on the plan of action with you.
Good.
For very different reasons, and
That's
you
okay.
are way more optimistic than I. I mean, you think this is a winning strategy. I think this is just let's choose the way we go down.
I am excited about this. I am excited. I mean, after being, by the way, saddened and angry about what I saw yesterday, I mean, this is a great opportunity for us. This is a great opportunity to energize this race. This will be, This is just my opinion, my friend.
Conspiracy. You wanna tell you like I don't believe in conspiracies, but there is one floating around. There is one floating around. Okay, here goes.
I don't believe in conspiracies, but go ahead.
But this is a good one. This is a good one. You're gonna like it.
Okay, go ahead.
The conspiracy goes. Do you know how this is the first time ever that we have a debate before the convention?
Yes.
The reason why that happens, conspiracy goes, the DNC was the one pushing for that. The DNC was the one who jumped in the opportunity and who really stoked that, because the DNC wanted to show Biden and have time
to
replace him before the convention. And if that's true, Miguel, this thing is the best thing to ever happen. Mm-hmm. Having this early debate is the best thing that happens, because it can give us the last possible exit.
By the way, I don't know whether the viewers know, but I know you know this. I have no love lost for the DNC after being cheated out twice against Bernie in a very purposeful plan to sideline him out of the major ticket. And that's okay. So I know that the DNC does play shenanigans behind closed doors. Now, that being said, whether this was really the conspiracy or it's just a lucky mistake, I don't know. But my question is different to you.
Before we move on, I just want to go on the record that Miguel and I disagree completely, adamantly on whether the DNC played shenanigans on Bernie Sanders, and definitely not on that vote.
But we can still love each other as brothers.
Yeah, exactly, very much. No, love us.
But I guess my question, and this is my paranoia because of the DNC. My doubts about the DNC. Right now, who is in the way of saying Joe Biden has to go? Who needs to say? Joe Biden can say, okay, I'm out, right? Okay.
Well, Joe Biden is not going to say that. Joe Biden has had a career. Imagine this, Miguel. You get to be 80 years old, and all along the way, you have to have opportunity and opportunity and opportunity after people tell you, no, you're out. You don't got a chance. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And you keep winning. The last time happens what? 2000. You and I gave Biden for that. And everybody that was looking at politics saw that the candidacy of Joe Biden was out. And he came back. That was the last time that he pulled that.
Close ranks.
So, So a man... Well, yes, that was on the DNC. So, So a man who has lived his life on the premises like, I'll fight because I tend to beat the odds. It's going to be very hard that he's the one who's going to say that now.
Correct. So, okay. So then what is it? Jill Biden? You know what I mean?
It will be incumbent upon his wife to say that to him. But on the other hand, Jill Biden has never been a political operative. Jill Biden has been there to support him. I mean, Jill Biden, I was listening to this thing this morning, which she kind of I was praising. That Jill Biden was is a school teacher, and she was giving her best school teaching performance of he did great.
And he answered all the questions.
The questions. He get all the stickers.
I was why are they still putting them on TV? Take him off the TV.
And at the end of the day, That's his wife, and maybe that's her function, and that would be a fine thing because guess what? At some point, he's not going to be president, he's not going to be everything, and he's going to be with his wife. So, who is there to tell him? I don't know. I don't know who has the power.
Barack
that power
Obama.
in the DNC. Barack Obama. But Barack Obama.
I mean, he just tweeted like close ranks.
He won't do it.
Yeah, he just tweeted close ranks. I tweeted
Like,
right back.
close ranks again, Miguel. I don't see how we
You know how this
recover.
changes that. You know how this changes, David. They're like, oh, we gotta wait for the polls. Yesterday would have been
The polls were
wait,
tied.
no, yeah.
We coming in. We came to the polls tied.
Yeah, no, the polls in terms of like who won the debate, but no. What I'm saying, you know what? Really, they're waiting. Yesterday was meant to be the coming out of Biden and like, oh, he's back and blah blah blah, and the DNC was going to collect a bunch of money. No money will be collected by the DNC today. It is when that money freezes, that's where the panic spreads because that money goes across tickets, and they're going to go. We gotta jump. We got to jump candidates and we got to reinvigorate. Because remember, follow the fucking money here. And that's what's going to stop. And like as a voter, you can say, look, I'm not going to vote. But you say, if I'm not donating to the DNC moving forward, David, this is over. If Biden's on top of the ticket, it's over. I mean, we've already lost.
Well, it's over either way. I mean, I believe that, yeah, it would be fun to see a Newsom Whitman ticket right now, and the whole shenanigans will be fun. But listen, Miguel, this is what I was saying yesterday, and I think I was telling you this. The thing about yesterday's debate is, like as we were saying a few days in our previous episode, a lot of people are tuning into the election. That is the first time they see what's happening. First time.
Low
right? Like
information.
They're just coming, and as we know, low information is no it's not pejorative. Those are the deciders. We may as well call the low information voters the deciders. Those are the ones who come and they're going to decide this election.
The last
right?
decider was George W. Bush, and he was low information.
Right, there you go. So these guys coming in, and the first thing they see this, and I say, if I'm sitting watching this debate with somebody who just tuned into the election,
Oof.
and I say, look at those two guys, and I say, the guy we want is the guy who cannot
Finish a sentence.
doesn't seem coherent right now, and the other guy is the bad guy. They will look at me like, what are you talking about?
What are you
and it's like,
talking
no, one guy is lying, and they will tell me, and the other guy is dead. Like, I wouldn't be able to, with all I think I know, the in and outs of politics, and I can make a very good coherent case for the Democrats. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be able to explain that away, because it would be like telling somebody, listen, the sky is red, and they're looking at me like it's blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was at some point where, like, if I'm here trying to explain what's happening on the screen to somebody who just tuning in, I can't. Except to say that here we're caught up in appearances, right? Like, this is a job about the performance that you do, which is kind of like a judging your surgeon on how good he is at karaoke, right? Like,
not quite, but sure.
Well, it is. Right? It's like but we just assume that in a world in which we think that the doctors need to do karaoke to earn their residencies or whatever. Well, look, but it's one of those things, like a governing is no campaigning.
But look, I've said this on the pod before, and I'll say it again. You know, this idea, Americans have this idea that their president is running the country, right? Like, just think about this. That White House is being run, the administration of Joe Biden is being run really well. You know, the policies are running, things are happening in the Biden, which goes to show that not just one person runs the White House. Another point in case is when Trump was in power, he didn't fucking do anything, but somebody in behind him was running whatever policies he was there to promote, and those were ran. So the White House and the administrations will run regardless of the candidate, but your job as the candidate is to sell it to the people. Our candidate is not good. Okay, so the surgeon is there. You had the whole surgeon team. The guy still needs to sing the karaoke and get me into the operation room, man. Too. But like, this is nothing personal. You know, by the way, let's just again remind ourselves what's at stake right now, which is basically Donald Trump is going to have 4 years. You were talking the other day about the Project
2025.
And I read upon some of this insanity that's coming, which is essentially, from the little that I read the other day up to now, is the essential whitewashing of the civil service to make sure that
whitewashing, basically replacing all civil servants with loyalists, like a you know, Kim Jong-un
litmus
style
test from
governor.
top to bottom.
Yeah.
And you
I
can
do
send
think- I
your resume right now, and they're talking to people right now.
Yeah. And this is on the up, and this is a Heritage Foundation, which is by far, you know how we say that doesn't matter what Republican is in power, there is an agenda.
Yeah, of
they,
course.
They use for push the same agenda.
Yeah.
It's the Heritage Foundation usually who writes it, and they wrote the Project 2025, which
published
is
it on the
amazing.
internet.
It is incredible, yeah. For anybody who wants to see it, to see, and it's clear with Project 2025 that once that we get another Republican, the Democrats can pretty much say goodbye to ever being in power again. Not because they're going to be so damn popular, it's because the way they're designed to work out the system is such that will cut any avenues for anybody
Now,
else.
I just
want to
say whether that's true or not true in terms of like them succeeding. The fact that they're wanting to do this is incredible. I'll just say that much. Okay.
Listen, Miguel, let's just sit for a second here and admire the resilience of Trump. This is a man that in October, just a few months ago, had 4 indictments, 90-something charges, right? Who was raising no money and spending all the money he had in lawyers, right? And as today, Miguel,
Top of the world.
it's safe to say he's heading to the White House. And all those charges and all those things are just not going to be anything more than a bump in the road. I'll tell you one more. The Supreme Court today actually decided that all the January 6 people who were in up to 200 of them, they could be released just in time to help Donald Trump get back into the White House.
People. But what I will say about that, like my retort to something like that would be like, I agree with you, but you take a page out of his book. We can be resilient too. We can fight back. We are right now at our darkest moment, which is we just found out our candidate is dead in the water. So like, what do we do right now? Do we just, we just take it? No,
what the Republicans do, you know what the Republicans will do right now, Miguel?
Close ranks.
Close ranks. They don't back out. They don't back out. The guy comes and say he grabbed the chick by the pussy. Nope. They call it locker talk. They're close ranks. The only ones who do this thing in politics is us, Democrats, right? Here we are like, oh, let's abandon the guy. Let's jump and that. This is over. The only ones who panic like that are Democrats. Republicans, they're immovable. They're immovable. They have one policy: cut taxes. Is that recession? Cut taxes. The economy is booming. Cut taxes.
Booming? Oh, cut taxes.
Cut taxes. It's like they are like that and they are like just one note.
Yeah.
So we're acting exactly like Democrats act, panicking and getting ready
Well,
to...
look, oftentimes you told me
jump.
that, Trump had met the devil in the crossroads, the
only thing that explains Trump's history is a pact with the devil. If you think about how a pact of the devil will look like, it will be exactly like Trump. It will be like I fixed this for you, and it's a much bigger problem. I fixed this for you, and it's a much bigger problem. And he just keeps doubling down.
Right now, I'm imagining them playing this video right now in court in 2025 as they take you to jail, and I say bye-bye. I didn't say anything. But take me to jail too.
Oh, no, listen, here's the thing. I was thinking today, what a lucky man Donald Trump has been. Because, make no mistake, the way that Joe Biden floundered there has no doing on his part. He just happens to be the guy on the other side. I mean, it was not a machination in which somehow a mastermind of Donald Trump put pills on Biden's water so he would go senile sooner, right?
Yeah.
No, it had none to that. No, it just happens to be he's fucking that lucky that Biden, appointed Merrick Garland, who refused to prosecute him when he could, and then age caught up with Biden, and let's as you say before, Biden is looking worse than many 83-year-olds. I'm sorry, 81. Yeah. So we have better examples of 81-year-old people out there. So it's a lot of things that were on the doing of Trump that he's benefiting from.
Okay, well, look, listen. Let's now talk about the potential outcomes of this. Okay, right now, obviously, I know that there's a lot of talk behind the scenes. I mean, this is set like the DNC on fire. What do you think it may happen? And I mean, two things may happen: they close ranks, and then we continue with Joe, or we go with somebody else. Now, if we go with somebody else, David, talk to us about what you might perceive something could happen here. Is it just an open convention where the delegates go and then we choose somebody there?
No,
do
it
we
will
just
be
present like a a Newsom Whitmer ticket and then say, hey, well, this is it? Talk through some ideas with us.
well. I would think the way to do this, and probably if it were to happen, I don't think the chances that the Democrats will abandon Biden are that high. But if it were to happen, it would have to be Biden saying, health reasons, I had to step down, and I will be endorsing these people.
But if that happens,
so it would have to be a contended. So this is the difference. It wouldn't be a contended.
Voluntary.
It will be more like a passing of the baton. Now, here's the one factor that will. Here's the thing. The party won't survive this, Miguel. The party is barely holding up here. We were barely even 50-50 heading to the convention, right? The minute that somebody says that we need to sidestep Kamala Harris, it's going to be a whole section there. They're going to say that the reason why we're doing it is because she's black and she's a woman. That's going to be a big chunk. Basically, the Democrat coalition it's not strong enough to lose any voters, any part of it. And that will cost. That's why I've been saying from the get-go that Kamala is worse than not helpful. She's actually very detrimental.
Yeah.
Because I do think behind the scenes, heading up to this election, the question was formulated as like listen, if we have a person that is viable as a VP who could step up and not only be president, but actually win another election, we should do it. But I think the calculation was made just removing Kamala. It was going to be so divisive and so contentious that we may lose more than what we may gain. So it's one of those things of like keeping Kamala in the ticket was about limiting the losses. And now, what I find it fascinating throughout this whole talk, I don't think anybody even mentioned Kamala. Kamala has never been even potentially considered.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, Miguel.
No,
because she is a terrible candidate for reasons that has nothing to do with her race and sex. She's just a terrible candidate, and if she was a white male, she wouldn't be a delegate.
Yeah.
With the record she has.
No, look, I find it insulting that there's open talks about, well, what are we going to do with Kamala? Well, maybe we'll put her in the Supreme Court, as if like the viability of this kind of payoff is something that we should accept.
I will actually consider that would be a way to tell Kamala to listen, if
100%.
If you step out quietly, we nominate you to the Supreme Court, because let's face it, Kamala is out for herself. I mean, rightfully so. So is everybody else.
And by the way, Kamala will do fine in the Supreme Court. She will vote for the things.
She was doing fine as a senator. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, that woman rose to her level of competence as a senator, which is no small thing.
Yes,
it's a great achievement.
Yes.
But why somebody have to pick her up above that is, whatever. It's a whole other conversation. So, yeah, she would be Supreme Court. I don't know, but we had two problems here.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Taking Kamala out of the way.
Kamala, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen, Miguel. That's why we do this podcast. That's why it's so interesting, because we never see shit coming. It's incredible. How
Look, we said it.
We
said it at the end of the last podcast. We said that everything was on the line in that debate for Biden.
You also say the following. You say this: Biden can only lose on this one.
Yeah,
Biden has everything to lose. And
everything to lose.
And we didn't even know the half of it.
Yeah.
So you were.
I mean everything, and this is everything. Yeah.
But we'll
well-
see. The spin, as you say, is going in the other direction. The spin is going in the direction like we need to close
Closing
ranks. It's okay. Let's go for the accomplishments. You saw, I played you the clip of him on his rally this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, I would say to our listeners, if they're Democratic voters, this is a time of concern. If you want to make some noise on social media, I would advise you to say we are not giving any money to the DNC. That's the only way that things are going to move around here. You know, it's true. It's just where the money is. I'm trying to. It's one voice, but this is it, man. It just say what you will. Don't allow them to close ranks on them. What's that?
You just want to throw Uncle Joe overboard, eh? That's what you want.
Hey, by the way, can I tell? I might have told you this anecdote before. I lived in shortly in St. Louis for a little while. At the time, Chuck Berry, great guitarist, blues guitarist, was playing, and he would play one night a week on a Thursday, and and the guy was so old at the time, but it was Chuck Berry, so you go see them. And I remember I went to see him twice, and the family literally like dragged him out, boom, and he played the guitar, and he played, Roll Over Beethoven, great, Johnny Be Good, and the third song, Roll Over Beethoven. Oh, he forgot he had just played it. Don't worry about it. And this is what this reminds me of. They're just rolling poor Joe. Let him retire. Let him spend some time with the grandchildren.
Yeah,
leave him alone.
You know one way to describe this last debate? Weekend at Bernie's versus American Psycho. Yeah. That was basically that debate.
Oh my goodness.
Look,
listen, I think by the time we do this again next week, there's going to be, we're going to find out a lot. We're going to find out a lot about the Democratic Party this week. But that being said, though, it is 4th of July weekend here in America. So happy 4th of July if we don't get to see you before then. So we might be in a radio silence in terms of the events that are going to happen until July 8th, which will be the Monday after that. But things are moving behind the doors. They're trying to close ranks, but I think we're going to rip through those, man. We have to. We have to.
So you think? So your team? Let's get rid of Uncle Joe. I got you, man.
I sure am.
I'm not making any.
You're not gonna stake your position. You've said enough.
I'm not staking any position. I can't watching here.
Look, and I agree with you, David. Like in the argument, look, you might see my point of view as different to yours in terms of where we're coming from, but I just, if the whole point of this is to stop Donald Trump, I just don't see any other way, my brother.
Yeah. All right, my man. I'll see you soon. If you guys are listening to this, like us, follow us, and send us an email. And love you, man. Good to see you. Stay safe.
Have a great weekend.
If you guys see, if for whatever reason, all these podcasts, every podcast disappear, it's because we are sure that Project 2025 is coming.
They got us.
Covering our tracks. All right, my man. Hopefully it's going to be all right.
Take it easy.
All right, man. Love you.
Bye. Love you too. Bye.